This is your friendly spoiler alert from Marvel and Makeup. MCU spoilers ahead.
Welcome to Marvel Makeup. I'm Quincy.
And I'm Kay. And on this podcast, we teach each other a little bit about Marvel and a little bit about makeup.
And here's a spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, MCU spoilers ahead. So we are diving into Iron Man 3, the third of the Iron Mans. Oh my goodness.
And the first of phase 2.
And the first of phase 2. I've lost my notes, so I'm going to grab them really fast while I'm vamping. Here
Question,
it is.
You could, here, I'll vamp for you.
Okay.
Question, did he mention it was his birthday in this movie?
Oh, what do you mean?
Iron Man. Like, I think early on, like, it's like, I forget where he goes. Wow, my memory's bad. I just watched it this afternoon.
It was his birthday in the movie? It was a Christmas movie.
Yeah, and then he mentions like, oh, it's my birthday too. And he turns on a Christmas song.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he said that. Anyways, all this to say... Oh, wait,
look that
no.
up.
Well, no, because Iron Man birthday. I was going to say, if it is, I think he might be a Sagittarius.
Oh.
Which makes sense because Sagittariuses are... Oh, no. Okay, never mind. It lied. It's saying... Wait, actually, no. It's saying Iron Man's birthday is 1970, which does not make sense.
Well, that's a date. Well, what date? Like during the day?
1970.
Oh. So that's not when
you know
this
what?
movie
Never
takes
mind.
place.
No. Never mind. You know what? I was going to bring some astrology into this, but it just tanked it.
Well, here is a date. May 3rd, 2013. That is when Iron Man 3 was released in theaters. It is the third in the Iron Man trilogy, but the first in phase 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Phase 1 ended with Avengers, and now we're into phase 2 with Iron Man 3. It was directed by Shane Black. So the first Iron Man not directed by Jon Favreau. Shane Black directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, a movie called The Nice Guys, and the newest version of The Predator, which came out in 2016. He was also a writer. He wrote the Lethal Weapon movies and also the Last Action Hero movies.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I remember that movie when I was a kid. It was like Arnold Schwarzenegger comes out of the movie and helps a little kid. Do you remember that movie? Last Action Hero? No. Okay. Well, look it up. It's probably available somewhere. A little bit about 2013. It's when the Supreme Court ruled in favor of gay marriage. I remember that being momentous.
Yes. But also, it was very sad.
We're very sad.
Didn't Prop 8 come out? What is it? They like revoked it as soon as it came out.
I think this was post Prop 8.
Okay.
So like it was okay in California. And then actually I might have that timeline completely wrong. Well, this was the Supreme Court case where the Defense of Marriage Act was struck down. I see. So for however long it lasted at the federal level, gay marriage was okay for however that timeline lasted, because history happens all the time.
And my brain is mush. I'm really realizing just like, man, it's just all the years consolidate. Like,
well, and we don't have the ability to go outside on a daily basis and take in all the fresh air and history, because it's still right now it's end of March 2021, so we're still inside. However,
I used to judge my parents for not remembering stuff as a little kid. I remember vividly being like, how can you not remember who your PE teacher was when you were in third grade? I was like, I know all the room numbers and my teacher's first and last names from kindergarten through third grade.
And let me remind you, Quincy, that the episode that I most recently released, because we are operating in different timelines here, was Iron Man 2. And in that episode, you were like, didn't that happen 3 years ago? For like everything. You were like, didn't that happen 3 years ago? So
God.
I think you owe your parents an apology.
I do. I'll apologize to them today.
Well, a couple other things about 2013. It was the end of 30 Rock, the series, as well as Breaking Bad. Those both wrapped that year. Some music moments that happened were the Harlem Shake. Do you remember that? Where everyone was doing the videos where everyone was just like, we're all shaking now.
Was that the first social media fad?
I mean, as a person who's not hugely known about social media for like that very long, usually I don't know. But I remember that was something that was on my radar.
Like planking was a thing, but I feel like the Harlem Shake, wasn't there like flash dances, flash mob
that was like
were around that time too?
Yeah, that was one of the first kind of like flash mob type experiences I think people were having, because it was just like, we're all gonna, there's a video camera on somewhere and we're gonna play this song, and as soon as the beat drops, we're all gonna start shaking. Like that was the meme that happened.
And I think a few years later, Gangnam Style came, and that was the other thing.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the birth of like
before that.
Yeah, maybe this is the birth of like TikTok, because essentially that's what TikTok is. Like, you do dance videos of famous dances to the song. Like, you don't make up your own dances anymore. You do like, I don't know anything about TikTok.
I feel like it's definitely the spread of like movement memes, you know, across the internet. Like, everyone's doing this thing now where you have to know what the move is.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of moves or other things that make people move, the other music moments, What Does the Fox Say came out that year.
You know, I love that song.
I did not get it. I was like,
you didn't get it? It's just a silly song. It's like, what does a fox say?
It was so silly. But I was just like, why is this just so, like, it won't go away? Like it stayed around for a while. Like,
I love
everyone knew about it.
I
don't know why.
It's just one of the songs you listen to and you're like, this is a funny song.
Oh, to me it was like Bingo Was His Name-O, or like a farm animal type song, kid song that it was just kind of like evolved into
cool
pop.
I don't know. I guess it just made me feel like, oh, like this is like I don't know. I was going to say you could like do drugs to it, but like, I don't know.
I don't know what
that song is on drugs is what it is.
Yeah, but still like exposed to kids, so it's like a drug version.
Was it exposed to kids?
Yeah, kids knew about it. Like, really? I remember.
I guess it felt like such an adult-ish song because it was such a, I don't know.
See, I thought it was totally a kid's song. I was like, this is a kid's song, right? Like, made for children, part of a TV show for kids, right? And I'm like, no.
It just reflects more on me than anything.
Well, we all experience things differently. Yeah. A couple other moments. It's the year that Jennifer Lawrence won the Oscar for Civil Lane's Playbook, but she also fell on her way up to accept. And speaking of other award shows, NSYNC reunited at the VMAs that year. Wow. And it was also the same year that Miley was had her big twerking moment at that same VMAs. And then that year, Beyonce played the Super Bowl and reunited with Destiny's Child. So a lot of reunions that year and moments for pop culture and pop music stars. Yeah. I actually, when I learned that, I went back and I looked up the Beyonce performance for the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And I remember like, oh, that is epic. That was the year that people were just like, oh, who's in the game? I was like, Beyonce. Beyonce is in the game. That's why we're watching this, because of Beyonce. And the Destiny's Child moment, even though it wasn't like, it was very short, but at the same time, I was there for it because
I
Destiny's
feel
Child
like
was
that
huge.
year, I'm probably remembering this incorrectly, but I feel like that year was the year people were trying to do reunion tours. Like Backstreet Boys got back together a little bit, like 98 Degrees got back together. Like weren't the Spice Girls trying to get back together too at one point? I wonder if it all happened.
Well, I feel like that definitely was something. I mean, NSYNC reunited that year. But I feel like that's kind of just become I don't know if it started that year or previously, but the whole idea of like reboots and reunions and bringing things back has definitely become like a huge movement since then. Like so many TV shows, old versions of TV shows have come back and been rebooted because, people want nostalgia and the same things. So maybe I would probably think that's part of where that started. So that's just a little bit about 2013.
Speaking of nostalgia, can we talk about Jensen being in this?
Oh, yes. Jensen does show up. Correct.
Was that a good segue or was that a good segue?
No, that was great. That was great. Yes. Iron Man 3 opens in a scene from the past where he's in Switzerland at a conference. And he's like reliving this moment, which sets up the premise of the movie. And yes, he runs into Jensen, who, we know from Iron Man 1. And he ends up saving Tony's life. But you see that change now, like the different man he was at that point. And Jensen being like, I'm tracking kind of what a douchebag you are, to the, and how he's kind of changed now, where he's, more of the hero and apparently has more confidence. But one of the main themes that they do cover in Iron Man 3 is kind of his mental health and how he's dealing with the fact that he, flew up into space and saw the Chitarian army that was, ready to take over Earth.
Yeah. I really liked it. I think you mentioned like this isn't it's not one of the more popular movies.
No, I mean, I feel like as you go along through kind of the sequels of the different character movies, like people don't like them as much as the originals. So I would say that this is one of the least popular Iron Man movies.
I actually liked it.
Oh, you did?
A lot. I think because of the mental health storyline, I think because that PTSD and the anxiety he has was real. I think I think there's a lot of people who suffer, at least with anxiety. And I thought, I really liked it, actually. And I think, in my head, I always joke when I watch these movies, like, you're going to need a lot of counseling, or like, when they get thrown around. In my head, I'm like, boy, lots of PT. Like, you are in a world of hurt. And so I liked that we got to see the consequences of what happens to our heroes. And when I went back and I watched the Avengers end credit, because I missed the end credit because I thought the mid credit was the end credit. That end credit hit.
Were they in the shawarma shop?
Yeah, and it hit harder for me. There was an emotional note that I didn't, because I think if I had watched it, it was like, oh, that's so funny. They're like all tired from fighting and they're just trying to enjoy their shawarma. But seeing this movie and seeing how he went through and like refused to get help and was in denial of help, and he almost lost the love of his life. And then to see that, it's just, like, I think when you go through something traumatic as going through a wormhole, there is an expense, a toll you have to pay.
It's going to stick with you, and it's going to affect how you proceed from that moment forward. And just a little tease, his mental state actually makes him he leads to some choices that he makes later on in phase 2, which creates conflict between him and other Avengers.
And maybe it's to show that Iron Man is not always made of iron.
Oh yes, he is also part man.
Yeah,
he is
I don't know. I liked
man.
it. I really liked it because it just showed this vulnerable side to him. Not gonna lie though, when the house was getting blown up, I was like, ooh, if I was Pepper Potts, he'd be in so much trouble. Like I literally wrote in my notes, huge fight. Couples counseling now. He's in counseling. Like, I was just the whole time. I'm like, how are you going to go on the news and say your address to terrorists and like.
But again, like his mental state, you know, he was just coming out from seeing Happy, who was, you know, I got blown up at the Chinese theater thing, and you know, so he was hopped up on like the adrenaline of like, I need to do something. This is what I'm going to do.
This is true.
Which again, not a great choice, and which I feel is kind of like a seed and like a preview of like other choices that he's going to make down the line that are not so good choices.
Yeah, no, that's I forgot the context of like where he was, because also like when he does those things, he's so brash and like so rash, and I don't know if he has necessarily like the best coping mechanisms.
No, not at all.
Like, oh man, but yeah.
And I think that's what's the great part about it. It's like they're heroes, right? But he's so flawed, you know, has, you know, making these bad choices, has all this power. And you're just like, you know, you're supposed to be responsible. You should have the weight of like what you're able to do on you all the time. And it's like he does, but he's crumbling under it. You know, he's not able to bear it.
And I think that's an interesting point, because I think when we see heroes, we kind of put them on that pedestal of, you should know better, you should do better,
you should be perfect, and you should be flawless, and you shouldn't make any bad choices and do anything that's like, you know, reprehensible. But you know, consequences, you know, they act again. He's part man still, and so makes mistakes. So you know, to a few things I wanted to mention off the top. You see, Rebecca Hall has a supporting role. She's an interesting figure, just in Hollywood in general. I've actually become more of a recent fan of hers because she directed a movie called Passing, which has both Tessa Thompson and Ruth Negga in it.
Oh, cool.
And it's about mixed colored women who are trying to pass as Caucasian back in the day. And she actually is part African American, even though she's, you know, white passing.
Interesting. I haven't heard of that movie.
Yeah. It came out just this past year. I still haven't seen it, but I'm looking forward to the chance to see it because it came out in Sundance and I did not have access. But an interesting thing is that Tessa Thompson eventually enters the MCU down the line, as well as Ruth Negga. She had a part on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Cool. That's so really
cool. There is, you know, Marvel connection in even that project.
Marvel connections. So of course I'm on IMDb, like just looking at actors, and then I saw the actor, the little boy who plays Harley, his IMDb, and it was like him in a suit. I was like, what? Let's see what he's in. Clicked on it, and the first thing I see is Endgame. I'm like, fuck. Okay, he comes back, but I spoiled that for myself.
Gotta be careful of those clicks, man.
I know. Yes, you gotta be careful of those clicks.
Did you read any further though? But you just read Endgame. Okay.
I just saw his IMDb credit for Endgame and saw that it was the same, and I was like, okay, so I guess he grows back and uses the technology that Tony Stark gives him. But
that is a guess. That I'm not going to say anymore. That is a guess, and I'm going to let you sit with that. And once we get to Endgame, you will find out whether or not you are right.
Great. But yeah, it's so funny now as I'm watching this. Like, it's so funny because I'm, you know, past spoilers, but like I feel like the last 2 episodes we've talked about potential spoilers, and I'm like, no, because like I just want the newness since I'm processing for the first time. But yeah, I like spoiled myself and I was like, oh God.
Yeah, we are being like, we're going with kind of like our own version of what is spoiler for you and what's not. So I feel like there's all these things.
Because then we're spoiling it for everyone else, but like not spoiling it for me.
We do a spoiler at the beginning. So, and these movies have been out for a while, and we record them way ahead of time when we release them.
This is true.
So this is true. So and again, it's all connected. Other quick things I wanted to mention, that whole New Year's scene was on 1999 going to 2000. So I thought that was cool because I was like,
cute. Yeah, I didn't make the connection until they said Y2K, and I was like, oh my God, Y2K was such a thing.
It was such a thing. As someone who lived through Y2K, which wasn't really a thing, it was, I was like, oh man, like they were out partying and being fine. Meanwhile, like, my parents were like, you can't go to that party because maybe Y2K. And I was like, it's not a thing. I don't even know why.
For some reason, I thought Y2K. I think because I was too young to understand, but they kept calling it like a virus or something. So I just thought, like, in my head, Y2K was just like this little internet beetle that was gonna like eat your computer.
Well, it was supposed to Y supposed to stand for year, and then 2K is 2000, and the whole idea was like, because 99 was gonna go switch to 00 again, like all the computers were gonna reset, and that was totally wrong. It was completely wrong. Everything was fine.
2012 was when the Mayan calendar thing was going to happen.
Yeah, right? That was the Mayan calendar thing.
So then if someone out there, movie maker, if you have a movie set in 2011, you got to talk about the Mayan calendar.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things. I mean, especially coming from 2021 right now, so many things have been foretold to be the end of all things. And it's just like, guys, we're still around and things are still going on, even though some things have ended, some things are continuing. Yeah. So we're all cockroaches. We're all just going to stick around until whatever, Yep. So moving on, you also have Guy Pearce showing up as Aldrich Killian as the bad guy. One of his favorite movies I remember he was in was a movie called Memento. I remember seeing that when out in the theaters.
That's where he was. I saw Memento not in theaters, and I saw it like 2-3 times in a row because it was so good. Yeah,
that was a really that was one of those movies I was just like, oh, filmmaking is a thing. Like I remember that being like, I was very aware that like someone was telling a story in a very like
specific
intricate way. And then you have Happy come back, Jon Favreau's character.
I loved his story arc.
Yeah.
It was great to get to know him a little bit more.
Yeah, and you have his little like his fandom for Downton Abbey. That was really fun because I'm a Downton Abbey fan, and I lived through the drama of all that show.
Yeah.
And then
I really thought when I saw him with this little bit of we got to see him more. I was like, wait a minute, is he gonna die? He's gonna die. And then literally as I'm writing, he's gonna die, he gets blown up in the Chinese Grauman Theater now.
Grauman Chinese Theater.
Grauman Chinese Theater. And then also, by the way, being an Angelino, I was like, that is the worst place to meet for anything. Oh. Where are you going to get parking? Like, but, I mean, I guess part of it was like to, make it,
public. So there's people around.
Yeah, it's a
you can blend
publicity
in
place. But I literally was like, parking, you're going to have to pay $15 to $25 depending on where you end up. You're going to have to walk through crowds of like, nobody. Like, that's the worst. Go no.
That's how you know that they really want. That's how you know it's an important meeting, because they're willing to pay $15 for parking.
Yeah, I
guess. And then you have the return of Jarvis, the AI who he's talking to. I feel like they got more into like their relationship, and he had more lines in this where it's just like he was being more sarcastic towards Tony. And then you have all the various types of suits, the different Mach 42s, and then later on in the movie where you see all the suits come out and like in that big battle scene, and just that again connected with Tony's mental health, like since New York, he's just been so consumed by what happened to him. He's been working on suits and just creating and tinkering. So now he has all of these different types of suits, which is kind of like an ongoing thing, in the Marvel universe, you see the evolution of how he creates a suit and how he is able to like jump into them and how they come onto him and the ways in which they kind of like generate onto his body. That's really kind of a thing.
So arguably, how many, like in Iron Man 2, was that probably like his 5th suit?
That was,
he made like the original prototype when he was with Jensen, right? And then he has like the signature classic one, and then he makes another one, I think, the War Machine, that's like 2.
I mean, I feel like the idea is like there's different like designs that he's made, but we just know by the time he's in Iron Man 3 and he's testing this version, it's 42.
I see.
So there's been all of those before. And yeah, just, for me, not one of my favorite MCU movies, just because like the story kind of lulled a little bit. There were some great comedic parts, like the parts with the kid and the parts with
Ben Kingsley amazing.
As the Mandarin,
playing such a basic person with that reveal. Just like the comedic moments he had was super great. I will say I like the emotional arc of the story, but I did think like some of the fighting moments were not as epic. It just felt it didn't heighten as much, but I like the emotional storyline that they covered.
I did like that part, and just the scene, the human part of him so much, and him having to struggle with that, and the fact that he kind of just like he got back to basics where he was just like creating weapons and like tech out of just whatever he found in like the Home Depot, wherever he was shopping. They play with that whole thing of like he doesn't let the kid call him Iron Man, he makes him call him the mechanic. So he's kind of like kind of not regressing, but kind of like taking things back to basics, so he doesn't feel like he's relying on like the tech of the suit the whole time. But the reason why is because like I say it lulled a little bit because I knew that there was that plane scene coming, which is my favorite scene, the set piece in the movie, where he's in the plane and he's fighting the guy, and then all the people start flying out of the plane, and then he dives after them, and then he makes them. Yeah, that was a really cool. I really liked that cool set piece and action moment, but it came pretty far near the end of the film, like right before where they get to the final climactic scene where they're on the big ship and there's like the president there and all that stuff.
How would you rank your favorite Iron Mans so far, 1 through 3?
For me, it's backwards. It's probably 3, 2, 1.
Is your favorite?
No, or 3. Well, my favorite one is 1, and then
2.
The second
3?
Is 2 and 3. Yeah.
I think for me.
And for me, what puts 2 over 3 is the interaction and is the introduction of Scarlett Johansson's character in 2.
I see.
And him fighting with Don Cheadle. For me, like the whole, it's very interesting, the whole intrigue of like the Mandarin and this like, conspiracy plot with Killian Aldrich, and like, it's all really cool. But for me, like seeing Black Widow kick ass kind of like, puts it over. What about you?
I think, I think 2 feels like a more cohesive Marvel movie.
Oh, really?
What you said about like, introducing these new characters, like the comedy of it, and like, even the villain. But I think it might be 1, 3, and 2 for me.
Okay.
Mostly because I don't know. I really liked it. I liked it for what it was. I liked seeing him struggle in a different way. Also, it was nice to see Pepper, be able to get some action.
Yes, that was a cool scene at the end.
I low-key was like, I don't know if I were Pepper and I had a superpower like that, I don't know if I'd be like, because she gives it up, right? That's what he's saying in the VO.
Yeah. At the end,
I don't know if I want to give that up because no, like.
Yeah, I mean, especially if he's able to kind of like temper it, like make it so, she won't, like they say, run too hot, like to the point where, it becomes explosive. But, maybe she's just like, I'm good. I don't need something in me. But, she's Pepper, and she comes back, and she has her moments in the future movies as well. And she's also running a company, so that's kind of her superpower too, of like boss Pepper, being the head of Stark Industries. So I kind of I felt there were a lot of chapters to this movie, so for me the pacing lulled a bit, but still some really great scenes and set pieces and action pieces, especially with that last scene, big fight scene with all the different suits and him jumping in and all of them. That was really cool. And the
only thing I wanted in that fight scene was more Don Cheadle. Right now I am did I mention this? I mentioned this in the last episode, I think.
Okay.
I finally started actually watching Black Monday. I rewatched.
Oh, right.
And I this week was just like screaming Don Cheadle's name from my apartment because he is so good in it. And like even here, I just wanted more of him. Like I'm obsessed with him. I've texted all my friends about him. I am so obsessed with him. And I was just like, more, please. More.
Okay, so we have a War Machine fan or Iron Patriot. Did you have a preference in terms of what he was 100% called?
100% War Machine rocks.
Oh, cool.
Because didn't he spell it ROX?
Yeah.
and his password was like, what was it? Something 68. I was like he's so pure. Like he wants it to be 69, but he's gonna be like, I'm gonna be respectful and ask.
I didn't remember that part, but yeah, okay.
I just remember because like you would think when he goes 68, you're like, wait, what? 68? Like the joke.
He's not some same old dude.
Yeah,
going for the 69 joke. He's going 68.
Yeah, I love him.
Cool. I'm trying to think. Yeah, he does. He is kind of like Iron Man's right-hand man, best friend. So he does come back. I'm trying to remember what's the next thing he's in this phase. I don't remember exactly, but later down the line he does have more to do. And then we have your classic Stan Lee cameo where he plays the judge at the beauty pageant. That was I felt there were like, even though I appreciated the comedic scenes, again there was a few moments where you're just like, okay, well, but action. Let's get back to the action. Yeah, and then at the end credits, you realize that the narrative has been was framed by Tony talking to Bruce Banner, and I thought that was a little fun scene too. So a lot of really good like comedic moments, which is interesting because like I feel like Jon Favreau is more known. Like when I think Jon Favreau versus Shane Black, I don't know his work as well, but like I feel like. I was like, I was surprised when I read that Shane Black had directed this because I thought, Jon Favreau would have that comedic sense to add all of those scenes.
By the way, I think that post-credit scene made me, because I was still waffling between Edward Norton's
really?
And Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. And I think seeing that scene was like, I love Edward Norton's Hulk and the story, but I think seeing that scene was like, okay, I think this makes more sense.
Okay. What do you think pushed you over to that thought?
I don't know. It's just, I think it's the pairing of the two. Just seeing them together on scene and like Mark Ruffalo being so tired and like sleepy, and like I think Edward Norton has more of like an edge to it. Like it almost feels like Edward Norton's Hulk or his what's the scientist's name? Wow, my brain is Swiss cheese. Bruce Banner. He is up at night on edge, it feels like. Like he's tired too, but he's on edge all the time. And Mark Ruffalo's, he's also up at night, but like it exhausts him. And I think, I don't know, something about it. I'm just like, this makes sense. I am on board.
Okay. Yeah. And, he's struggling with a lot. He's, has a Hulk in him. So that's going to make you worried. And it's going to make you tired.
Yeah.
And then you have Tony coming over and being like, let's talk. And then just talking for a good amount to cover a whole movie.
It would be cool to see Edward Norton's Bruce Banner.
Well, maybe somewhere in some timeline it happens. So that's Iron Man 3. That was most of my thoughts going into it. A great and a good MCU movie. Very solid and a interesting take on Tony's character as he's dealing with a post New York world, post Loki coming into New York and the Chitaurian army attacking New York. So right now we're gonna go ahead and transition into our stretch and share. I believe I haven't keep track.
I don't remember.
So
do you want to go first, Kay?
Yeah, I'll say I'll go ahead and do the stretch first, and then you want to share, or you want to?
Sure.
Okay. Let's do.
Bless you.
Thank you. I'm running. Let's do. I'm trying to think of something we can do while we're sitting down. Let's do just like a little shimmy, like
okay,
shaking it.
Oh, I love shimmy. Okay, my share is actually, you got to see a little preview of it. I'm gonna share it with you. I was, while we were getting ready for this podcast, I was leaning back like this, and I had my legs up like this in a diamond, and then I rested my feet on the heels like this, and I had my legs open, which my mother has told me countless times, keep your legs closed, you are a girl. And I sat there and it was like, you know what, I feel very powerful.
Spread it. So that's my share. I don't know, it feels very comfortable. I guess this is like essentially man spreading, right? Pretty much.
It's man spreading, but like leaning back. You know what it is, Kay? You know what it is? What it is it's just a seated stretch I like to do. And, and I love to stretch on the floor all the time. That's what this is. It's just because I'm at home.
And you're extending yourself, stretching yourself out, taking up space, which is
very important for us to do as women.
Yes. Yeah. So wonderful stretch and share. Go ahead and feel free to women spread and feel the power.
I am currently women spreading now. Glad we have a name for it. Yeah, it feels really great to take up space. Actually segueing into second share, I realized one thing I do when I walk past men is like look down, and I don't look up. And so I've been trying to exercise that because I think instinctually, it feels safe to feel small, obviously for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And so that's been something I've been trying to practice, and it's very hard actually. Like I'm actually fighting myself to keep my head up and looking up ahead. So, I think this is why today woman spreading feels really great.
Yeah, definitely. And to transition to my share, I'm going to get a little topical here. We're recording this at the end of March of 2021, and this past week was fairly rough, very rough for a lot of people, but especially those in Atlanta who experienced a hate crime. Pretty much, there was an incident where a white man
perpetrated a hate crime against the AAPI community.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. Those are the words that I was searching for. And, we've just been dealing with the kind of like emotional, physical, mental aftermath of that. And it's been rough, to say the least. those of us in the AAPI community were scared. We're having to grapple with the fact that we are thinking we have to adjust our lives and how we operate outside of our homes, just to stay safe. So that's something that I'm highlighting today, because if there is anyone who listens to this who has any type of, fear or mistrust about AAPI people, and just has, just negative emotions or feelings towards us, find the kernel of humanity in yourself, in other people, and just don't give in to the darkness. Don't continue to mistrust and blame and feel like acting out against people is the solution to your problems. We all are living on this earth, which in the Avengers, in the MCU, is protected by, the Earth's mightiest heroes. If you are a person who is feeling like you need to act out to make yourself feel better, try to turn towards a light, try to look towards a hero or someone who can make you realize that all are worthy, all are worthy of life, all are worthy of love, and that it's not the way. Just turn away. It's not the way. Please prevail to your higher angels, to the lights in your life and in your psyche, because
also, just take the time to learn. Right now, PBS has their Asian American documentary out, available, free to watch on their website, and just take the time to educate yourself and learn about someone outside of yourself. Asian Americans have had a long history in America. I think the Filipinos were the first to actually immigrate to this country. And so we have a long history here. So we are not foreigners to this country, but we're constantly told we are. We're constantly erased in the media, in our stories, and that's not okay. And I think if people took the time to educate themselves, you would see that, and you would see that we're just like you. We're just trying to, make a living doing what we love.
Right. You're right, Quincy. I am going to let Quincy have the last word, because I'm just going blah, blah, blah now.
It's totally fine, Kay. I think all of us, it's manifest, like how the effects of what has happened, it's going to show up in different ways and manifest in different ways. And it's okay that you're having a hard time finding the words.
Yeah.
Because we're all in a different stage of grief right now.
Yeah. Like Tony, we are dealing with this trauma, and we are trying to push forward, and all we can really do, if there's anyone who is leaning towards that side, is just see yourself in other people and stop seeing others. Stop seeing an enemy. Stop seeing an evil. We are so much more alike than not.
Yeah. Also,
so that's,
and if you're someone who is listening and want to help, Kay and I will include in the show notes different organizations you can get involved with or donate to, so that, if somehow you miss this, like I missed all 22 movies of the Marvel Universe,
you'll have resources.
Yes, because there are resources out there if you look.
Yes. So that has been our stretch and share, and we are now moving into the makeup portion of Marvel and Makeup. And today, what are we doing, Quincy?
We are doing a cat eye today. Sidebar, really quick, Kay. Can we just do like a virtual hug for each other and to others who are listening?
Hugging
hug yourself.
Virtual hugs, virtual audio, video hugs through the cords and the cables to all of you out there.
All the ones and zeros. Sending you guys all the love and hugs before we transition into makeup. We are doing a cat eye, like I mentioned. This is going to be very interesting because...
Yes, I feel like it will be.
Kay and I are doing this on our computers, as you guys know, and so we don't have like a special zoom lens to like show what's happening in
I have a mirror here.
I also have a mirror. I have a liquid eyeliner, as does Kay.
Epic ink liner.
Great.
Waterproof.
Great.
Black.
Okay, so what we're gonna do to create a cat eye is look at the shape that your under eye actually creates. You'll notice that it swoops down and it goes up.
Okay.
Right? So you're going to see how that line, your under eye goes up. You're going to use that line to extend.
Okay. So we're drawing just at the end of the eye.
Yes, and you're going to extend it out. You're going to use that line your under eye creates to create a line. So it all aligns.
Okay, and it's an extension. You're not also lining the underneath of the eye.
No.
Okay, so
I have learned to be very clear with directions lest we want a disaster. Okay, so you'll see I'm going to, and I've never done my cat eye this way. I usually just go doop doop, but actually I think it works. I'm going to try it. So I'm using that as a guide, the under eye, and then now at the corner, I'm going to
drawing outward from the corner of the eye. Mm-hmm. Okay, and lining it up with the angle of the bottom of the eyelid.
So now I'm going to move in close to the camera so you can see. You'll see that the extension I drew it's a line that extends up.
Right.
So you can see.
I do. And how do you know when to stop?
I don't know. I guess it's a matter of taste. I guess if you wanted, you could draw it all the way here, but that looks a little crazy.
That would be weird.
Yeah, just enough. I have like 2 centimeters. You want to create like a lift.
Okay.
A trick that I saw online that you can do is use the brush of your liner and you can also do this. Give me 1 second.
So I think I have the exact one that you have.
So it should be like it has a pointed tip.
Yes.
You can also use that and use the tip. Oh no, my pen is not doing it as well. Some people, you can use the tip to like
kind of like a backwards type thing. Okay, versus a draw.
Or you can just use it to stamp it on.
Oh, okay.
Use the tip to have it.
Okay. All right.
So let me finish one complete eye.
Okay, because there's a top part too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So then you have the tail, the end of your cat eye, what is going to be your cat eye, and you're going to connect the end of the tail to your lash line.
To your lash line, like in a straight line?
Yes. So what? And what's key too is to make sure and this is where it gets a little tricky, your eye is closed in a way that keeps your eyelid flat.
Okay.
So if you'll notice, I will have my eye closed, but I'm going to tilt up so that it makes the eyelid as flat as possible. If I'm looking down like this and I'm closing, what you'll see, it creates a lot of tension and wrinkles in my eyes, which means I'm not going to get a smooth, even line when I draw.
Okay.
So
I feel like my left eye will be easier because it's a bit lazier. And easier to close. Just an observation.
A random fact. I will say there's always an eye that is easier. Yeah. So here I'm gonna go for it, and I'm connecting the end, to my eye.
Okay. Now I see when you connected, you kind of went a little bit. Oh, well. So if we were to like, okay. So you're kind of going a little bit of a downward angle to get to like the middle of the top of the eye.
Yes. And then I'm going to fill it in because you'll see there's a space, right?
Yes.
I'm going to fill that in.
Okay. Coloring in the space that was made. And
so that's the cat eye. Can you see it?
Okay. Yeah.
A little lift. And then the trick to finish it is you want to line the corner of your eye to the line to the section you just created.
On the top.
Yes. And you want to just how do I describe this? Take your time with it, depending on your pen. Right now, this is on its last leg, so I really have to go over it to get a lot of the pigment out. Your pen, I think, because it's new, might just come out really easy.
Okay.
And so again, the key is to get your eyelid to be as flat as possible. So you'll notice I have my chin tilted, so I can peek through.
Okay, so you are still looking out through the eye.
Yes.
That you're lining.
Yes, and use the the tip to do a lot of the work. It's a fine point tip.
So so you're lining that top, the rest of the top to that point. And then just filling in. Yep.
Hold on, let me zoom in my face, and that is a cat eye.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I see it.
Lift, and it's natural, and it follows my eye shape. That's why
it's interesting. It's interesting that it's called a cat eye, because to me it kind of looks like a bird feather. You know?
Yeah. I don't know why they call it a cat eye, because technically a cat eye is when your iris is a slit, right? Isn't that maybe what a cat eye is?
Or maybe cats have eyes that are like that.
Cats have eyes.
I don't know. Yeah, you have a cat, so maybe you can stare at their eyes for a little bit and be like, "Do a cat eye." Well, I can't hear you.
Sorry, muted. She actually has she's naturally a little bald above her eyes, so she looks like she's wearing eyeshadow actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Do you want to go for it?
I'm going to try.
Great.
So I'm going to. Do you want
to try your left eye since you think it's easier? Kay's moving her entire dress drawer mirror.
Yeah. And so, this eye. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to.
It might be easier to do your right eye just because you're right-handed.
Yeah. Actually, that might be right.
Yeah. So you want to have.
So I'm just going, okay, now looking at my eye, I'm noticing that there's like fold over at the edge of my eye from the top.
Can I see?
See?
Oh, I see. Uh-huh.
So what I just go over that?
I think so. I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to just try it.
Yes.
Okay.
I wonder how this show would be different if we were able to be together.
Oh, I think I got it.
Can I see, Kay?
I might have used a little too much.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Kay? Yeah.
Should I make it longer?
No, I think that's a good length. I think you could actually move it up a little bit. I feel like the liner starts at like, I don't know what this is called on your eye, but like it starts here and not at your eye line.
Yeah, I got a little bit more towards the underneath of my eye.
Yes.
Versus just starting at the end.
Yeah, at the end. But that's a great line overall.
Okay. I mean, if I wanted, I could probably Q-tip that part.
Yeah, you can clean it out if you want. And Kay's Q-tipping her eye right now to clean it off.
Yeah.
How's makeup wearing been?
Good. I feel like I've got foundation and primer down.
That's great.
I just feel like I need to find time to the eye stuff. The eye is so specific. And I feel like if I were to just show up one day on a work Zoom with my eyes done, they'd be like, what happened? What's the occasion? So I will say, like, I'm doing shows more often now. Mm-hmm. So I think for those, I'm going to try to do eye stuff more consistently.
Great. That's a great goal to have.
And so now I'm going to draw from the top to the outside.
You should do the lash to the line, not the other way around. Because if you start from your eye line to the tail, you might miss.
Oh, okay.
Connecting.
So from the line.
Mm-hmm. The level of concentration Kay has. I feel like I'm at a golf tour.
Feel free to comment.
They're always so quiet at a golf tour. I never understood watching golf because it was always so quiet. I'd be awful to take actually to a golf tournament.
Because you'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah. When I visited my friends, let's see. I think you could use more pigment. Are you getting a lot of color out? It looks like it's not coming.
Not coming out?
Yeah. Because it should come out.
How do I get it out
darker.
more?
I don't know. Do you want to shake it? I don't know. It should just come out. Is it like a twist? Because some pens twist to let more ink out.
Yeah, there it goes.
Okay, don't twist too much because then it'll...
Not twisting too much. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Okay.
There we go. Yeah, let's do that. It's so quiet. Sometimes I think about starting an ASMR channel where I say some of my favorite words. Oh no.
Not sure about this.
Why? What's happening?
It feels like it's chunky at the end.
Let me see. Kay, wait, question. Are you like following your eye line or are you connecting the end to your eye?
I'm connecting the end of this thing to the middle.
You know what? I think you can extend your tail out a little longer.
Extend the tail out. Okay.
Because right now that you've connected it, it doesn't seem like it's as dramatic.
Okay, we're gonna go with. Okay, here's the thing. So, I think I've put too much more at the bottom.
That's okay. You can use the Q-tip to clean it up.
Okay, and I'm gonna warning. I'm gonna just feel like what I'm doing. Overdo it, and then we'll see.
Yes.
Because I feel like that will help me gauge on like how to actually put it on. Because I feel like I'm putting it on, but it's not coming out.
Okay.
And so I need to like figure out where the line is of actually getting it out. Great. Let's see. Righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Yes.
I'm gonna do this. Okay. All right.
Back to Quincy's ASMR channel. Welcome to Quincy's favorite words. Fallopian.
Okay, that's a little chunky.
Wait, what's chunky?
The top part.
What does... Oh, okay. I thought you meant the pigment was coming out like vomit. And I was like, oh, that's bad. That's bad.
Okay.
What happened?
Okay, I was trying to connect it. Mm-hmm. But I think I just started getting higher and higher.
It looks like part of the reason there's like a little bump. It seems like, I can't see because your face is turned when you apply. It seems like the way you're applying it is not allowing for a smooth surface. And I know looking down with your chin up feels very odd, but coming in like this, see how it's creating wrinkles in your eyelids? So you're not going to be able to get a smooth line.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I have to practice just learning how to close my eye, right?
Yeah. Holding your eye and your face.
So it's a smooth line.
Uh-huh.
So would you say that if I had done it correctly, what's covered right now is covered.
Yeah. So right now it looks like
it is just too much.
It actually, I don't know. It looks like it's more of a accuracy thing, like it's not accurately put on.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't mean that as an insult. What I'm trying to say is like
that's good. That's good.
I've killed Kay again.
I totally agree. Agreed. It is not. It was not accurately put on.
Like it's like, instead of putting a hat on straight, you put it on crooked. But like,
okay,
the hat is on.
No, it's a good metaphor. It's a good metaphor.
Yeah, we just need to straighten it, and that just comes with practice.
Okay. Got it.
It's all there. It's just, I feel like because the underline wasn't placed properly, it was put like slightly crooked, and then
it was up enough.
It was too low. That line, the bottom of the cat eye line was slightly too low, and then you didn't know how high to pull it, and then you pulled too much, and so then it's like exponentially it's just on top of each other. But I feel like if that first step had been where it was supposed to be, I think you would have the cat eye that you want.
All right.
It looks good. It also I feel like end of the night, like
I feel like I'm like post like the foam dropped at the Ibiza party.
Yes,
the foam has gotten in the eye, and I've been like, rah, rah, rah,
yeah. Oh, that's so funny. I thought, you're in my head. I was like, foam drops. Your boyfriend broke up with you, and you
So more. So you're saying it's a dramatic eye. Drama has happened to this girl. I just love that in order for her eyes to look like this.
But I also just love that like the foam dropped in Ibiza. Somehow it all got in your eyes. Like, Kay, what were you doing?
I was going like this. We're like, get this foam out of my face. A side note: I've never been to Ibiza. All I know about foam parties is from what I see on movies. So there you go too.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to try to get it in to connect the corner and like fill the rest of your eye?
Is that for this one? This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say connect the corner,
so you want to, because you can't have the line just start here. You want to start it from the inside of your eye.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Oh man.
So I feel free to golf commentary me.
Golf commentary.
We're on I1.
I just still can't get over that your idea of a foam party. Your biggest concern is the foam getting in your eyes.
Okay. Man.
Also, I think you can bring your mirror if it's detachable. You can get your mirror closer to your face.
Okay. It's kind of clunky.
Okay, never mind.
It's a big mirror. I should have gotten more a hand thingy. But I guess. What's the angle that you do it with from the inside of your hand?
You want to use the brush to your advantage.
Okay.
So it's always for me.
Okay.
So I can sweep it across.
Yeah. For some reason, I'm approaching this as like a writer, which is
like a pen.
Yeah.
Yeah. For these brushes, you probably, unless you're doing like creating a fake mole or you're doing like dot makeup to create like a character or something, you're probably going to use
so like a sideways
yes
thing. I think the key, you're right about just learning the shape of my eye and how to hold it.
Yes. And that's the crazy thing too. What I'm learning by teaching these things with you is like the things I take for granted, the little things I take for granted, like how to hold the brush. Like it didn't even occur to me to tell you, like, yeah, you're not going to be jabbing it in straight in. Mm-hmm. Because I think the way these brushes have been formulated or like created is to help you sweep it across so that you can create that fine line. Kind of like, I always see, I don't know what it's like, Oh, that's not bad, okay. The inside of your eyes, actually, you did a pretty good job. I just wish it was a little more like darker, like more pigment, but that's actually a very clean line.
The inside?
Yeah. I was going to say, these brushes, you can kind of think of it as like, what are those words?
I might just need to loosen it more.
Yeah, I think you need more pigment. What are the, like calligraphy? It's like a calligraphy brush.
Yes.
Not
yes.
like a pen. There we go.
But the page that you're, I mean, if in terms of like the calligraphy metaphor, the page that you're writing on is fairly small. Yeah, it's like a very small area.
And you need to create it. You need to make it as smooth as possible, because if you had a crumpled page and you try to draw a straight line, it wouldn't be very straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I forgot to do, let me think of my thematic movie tie-in. Cat eye, liquid eyeliner. How's it going?
I feel like my eye is looking more like the top of a dolphin.
Open? Oh, so okay, get a Q-tip now and clean the under eye, and then the smudgy part above your eye on your eyelid, you can clean it. And I think you actually have a decent cat eye.
Oh, that looks...
Mascara. Oh, here's my thematic theme in. No,
I see what you're saying now. Like, cause like, even though I felt like I was doing an extension of my eye, I was doing it more flat like this.
Yes, and you want to think about it. Yes, you want it. Everything I feel like with makeup and stuff and beauty, it's about lifting, lift.
And I think that's why it looks like the top of my eye is like a hump, because it's not. It's like I'm following more of the top line of the eye to connect it,
and you want
versus just going out. Okay.
And my thematic tie-in for this week, guys, we're doing a cat eye, because as we saw in Iron Man 3, if you don't look at your fears square in the eye, they will come to haunt you.
I like that. That's good. That's good.
That's actually, Kay, I think with your cleanup, it looks good.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, from this angle, not when I look in the mirror, but from this angle, it looks like a thing. It looks like a thing.
Yeah. I think you just have to get used to knowing how much pigment to draw. Because again, I'm pleasantly, mildly surprised, because I thought it was going to be hard for you to get that inside eye. Just because it's so fine and so, it's such a tiny place to try to draw a line, and you're getting used to this new tool, but like you did a great job.
Well, and here's the thing, like after we did that other eyeliner one where we were just trying to like, do the line just along the eye line, I feel like this one felt almost easier, because I was feeling like it was okay to like go on top of the line.
Yes.
But it looks like it's almost like I'm wondering if it's the shape of my eye, that my eyes are like more rounder, that makes me think that even I should like overestimate the liftiness of the end, because if I were, I guess it would be more like this, like this than it would be that way.
So what you're doing with your Q-tip, I love that you're doing that. You're using that to show yourself like, oh, look, this is where my line actually looks like this.
Yeah.
See that? And so, yes, what you're doing is correct. Like, angling that to be like, okay, I need to follow this line, not this line. Yeah. And it will take a while it'll take some time to figure out what looks good on you, because all of our eye shapes are different. And some people will draw, like, for example, like some people's tail ends will be a lot thicker than others. And again, it depends on like how it makes you shine, how it highlights your features. And part of that is just trial and error.
Yeah. And I'm looking at mine and looking at yours and being like,
the shape is there. It's just, you just need some practice.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. I think when I try that again, I'll definitely do this.
Okay. Great.
And then, yeah. And have more Q-tips on end to be like, bring it back. Now, if I were to take this off, it's just soap and water?
If it's waterproof, it might be a little bit harder. So if you have like an eye makeup remover and just
like
be
a wipe,
gentle with it. Yeah, you could use a wipe. Just be very gentle around it. I've been doing this weird thing where I'm triple washing my faces. My faces, like I have more than one face. My face, I'm using a makeup remover and then like a face cleaner. And then another cleaner. I don't know what it is mostly because I feel like I'm not getting the makeup off my face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, because you also put it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Cool. So we did it. We attempted a cat eye. It looks to me the top of a dolphin. Yeah, is what it is looking right now. But we'll try to move from top of dolphin to cat.
It's just you had a cat eye and you just had a wild night out.
Foam. Don't get that foam in your eyes.
Yeah.
Don't get that foam in your eyes.
Foam eye look.
So we did it. We dove into Iron Man 3. We stretched and shared, and we did a cat eye. So that is all the time we have for today. If you'd like to reach out to us,
you can find us, find out. You can, wow, I cannot talk today. Wow. You can, whatever Kay said, just follow us on social media at Marvel Makeup.
Yes, all social media at Marvel Makeup, or you can email us at marvelmakeuppod@gmail.com. Please rate and review and subscribe wherever you find your podcast.
Please give us 5 stars so that our Asian moms won't think we'll end up in a ditch somewhere.
Because that's always where the first place their mind goes. It's like, I haven't heard from you, ditch.
Actually, that's what my mom thinks.
Yeah, and it's always a ditch. It's always a ditch. It's not like on the park bench somewhere.
And it'll be like 3:00, and she'll be like, "Are you home yet?" I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "It's dark." I'm like, "It's 3," and she's like, "It's gonna get dark," and I'm like, "What are you saying right now?"
I mean, they're gonna worry. They're gonna worry. And for them, because of them, I'm always aware, like where the ditch is at. Stay away from those ditches.
Same.
So, thank you so much. We'll see you next time on Marvel and Makeup.
Bye, guys.
Marvel and Makeup is hosted and produced by Quincy Cho and Kay Kanapu. Quincy is an actor-writer based in Los Angeles, California. Kay is a writer-performer for Filipino AF and an alum of the CBS Diversity Sketch Showcase. You can follow them on Twitter and Instagram at Quincy Dinosaur and at Kay Kanapu.
The music for Marvel and Makeup was composed by Clarence Yap, and our artwork was designed by Patty Lynn. You can find them on Instagram at Clarence_Yap and at pattylyn.jpg. See our show notes for even more info.
Makeup. It's magic, people. It's magic.
Magic!